Thanks for coming. My name's Jessica. I'm the Health Fitness Program Manager in McLean. And I'm here today to lead a delightful core and stretch class. We're going to go ahead and get started today laying down on our backs. Go ahead, bend your knees. Find as much of your lower back supported by the mat as possible. Firmly plant your feet on the floor. Open up your chest. Relax your shoulders in the mat. Relax your arms down by your side. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. If you're trying to receive a little bit more energy, if you need a little more grounding, turn those palms down towards the floor. But really mostly focus on just sinking that lower back down to the mat. Start to slow your breath down. With every exhale, really work to take the tension out of your shoulders, out of your neck, out of your jaw. And continue to keep that lower back glued down on the floor. Two more relaxing breaths right here. Just enjoy the rhythmic sounds of Fred eating peanuts. Okay, notice if you brought any tension back into your upper body as you focus more on your breath. So really focus on relaxing that upper body. Maybe you need to take a little slight tuck of your pelvis to really keep that lower back down as much as possible. Even a slight tuck of your chin towards your chest if you have a natural habit to stretch your chin away and you feel your neck super far from the back of your mat. So with the lower back planted firmly, we're going to gently walk, or maybe if you need to wiggle your feet out. Teeny little baby steps. We're baby stepping it to success. As long as you still have that lower back on the floor, you can keep walking it out. And once you start to feel like it's a little more challenging to keep your back down on the mat, start to walk it back in. Make sure you're not holding your breath, that you're not, thinking about doing it so hard that you restrict your breath. If you find that that is the case, don't walk your feet out quite as far. Just a few more breaths right here. Next time you walk those feet in, keep them firmly planted, either about hips width distance apart, or if it feels good for you, they can be a little bit wider. Shake that tension out of your glutes. Relax your arms down by your side. Palms face down towards the mat. Maybe you need to wiggle around just a little bit. To find some more length in your spine, some release of your shoulders away from your ears, reaching your fingers a little closer towards your heels, but as you can see, if you're looking at me, mine are nowhere actually near my heels. Next up, we're going to do some glute bridges. We have a quick little 4-minute set here. We've got 3 different glute bridges and then one just ab move that we're going to work on. So with those feet firmly planted, make sure as you do this glute bridge that you lift everything up at the same time and you lower everything down at the same time with the same neutral spine that you have right here, not rolling yourself up or rolling yourself back down towards the floor. So you're going to inhale and press through your heels to lift your hips up, and you're going to exhale and release yourself down to the mat. If you find you need to take a little extra break at the bottom, that's absolutely fine. You can work at whatever pace you want to, as long as you're making sure that you're working within your breath. So if you'd like to do quick breaths and quick glute bridges, go for it. And if you want to focus on the slow, relaxed breath, just want to make sure that you get what feels right for your body today. All right, so with that chin neutral towards your chest, like you're holding onto a delicious juicy grapefruit that you can eat after this class. Relax those arms down by your side or challenge yourself more with arms up towards the ceiling. 45 seconds of work starts in 3, 2, 1. Pull your belly in and begin. So lift up on your inhale, lower on exhale. Or the opposite, just as long as you're breathing. Now that I mentioned it, I can't think of what feels normal. Yeah, I'm going to exhale up, inhale down. Notice what's happening with your feet right now here. Still thinking about this as a little bit of a warm-up. Your feet are planted firmly in the floor. And as you lift your hips up into a glute bridge, your hips stay in line with your knees. Your knees aren't opening towards the side or collapsing in towards the center. Just as you're not rocking towards the outside or insides of your feet, you are firmly planted through the floor. You've got 3 seconds left, and then you can lower it down. Or if you want to challenge yourself, stay up here in a hold. Next up, we're going to go for a glute bridge march. So while you're lifted, lift one knee up, and then lift the opposite knee up. See if you can challenge yourself to stay up the second round. However, begin. If you need to, you can always give yourself a march. Lower yourself down, lift yourself up, and march. If that's still too hard, come up into a glute bridge. Lower down, draw a knee in, and then glute bridge, knee in. You have started. So you're doing one of those options, either staying at the top and finding that lift of your leg, maybe even straightening that leg up, getting your hamstrings a little bit more involved and warmed up here. I promise we're going to get those hamstrings working no matter what in our next move, because next we're going to walk those feet out a little bit further. Feel free to lower it down or once again stay up and walk your feet out a little bit further. We're just going to lift and lower from here to finish with the glute bridges of this series. It's going to work the back of your legs a little bit more. So relax your shoulders, plant your heels, and lift and lower. You won't be able to lift your hips quite as high as you were likely able to for the last sets of glute bridges. Find that press up towards the ceiling. If you can, as soon as your glutes come down towards the mat and just are about to touch, go ahead and use that breath, send them up towards the ceiling again. Remember, neutral spine here, lifting and lowering at the same time, not rolling down and up. 15 seconds left, and we're going to definitely plant those lower backs on the floor. Oh, starting to feel some warmth on the back side. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Planting those lower backs on the floor, drawing your legs up to tabletop. You're going to press through your heel and bring that heel as close down towards the mat as possible. You can make this easier by drawing these closer to your chest or harder by extending further away. Begin. If you want to, keep your arms relaxed down by your side. If that's going to help you, even with your thumbs right underneath of your glutes, to keep that lower back pressed down towards the mat. If you need to, you can always kick a little bit higher up towards the ceiling. Really press through that heel still though. Toes flexed towards your face. The lower that you get your heel towards the mat, the more challenging it's going to be to keep that lower back down and that belly in. Same with the more that your knees are further away from your chest. Oh, make sure you're still breathing. We'll take a nice break after this. Oh, great work. Go ahead, plant your feet on the floor. Shake it out gently through your glutes. Next up, we'll take a nice little spine twist. Extend your arms out to the side, press into your heels, lift your hips up, roll over to whichever hip you choose, and gently roll onto your spine for a delightful spine twist. See if you can keep that opposite shoulder on the floor. So use your exhale to really relax that upper body, even turning your chin in the opposite direction of your knees. We'll take 3 more slow breaths right here. Maybe you can stretch through that top leg just a little bit, stack your hips a little more while still working to keep the opposite shoulder as close to or on the floor as possible. your next exhale, take your time, gently roll over onto your back again, press into your feet, lift your hips up, help yourself roll over to the opposite side. Take your time. You can keep it easier on yourself and keep looking in the direction of your knees, or find a little extra twist in that spine and look over the opposite shoulder. As it feels good for you, work to really stack one hip on top of the other and see how finding a little bit more pressure of that bottom leg to the floor, if you can touch it, if that works for your body today, works to find a good stretch. And think about finding some length of stretching through the crown of your head, so shoulders a little released from your ears. Draw that belly in once more and take 3 more breaths right here. On this next exhale, take your time, gently roll over onto your back again. Ooh, feel free to windshield wipe out those legs, maybe drop in the knee and more towards the center line, starting to bring the stretch down into those glutes a little bit more, into your hamstrings. All right, next, for the next round, there's more glute bridges coming up, great news. I want you to make sure you have some space behind you. So, for some modesty purposes, I'm just going to turn in this direction so that I'm not just pointing my bits at your face. All right. Yay! So we're going to start this next round with a glute bridge with an overhead reach. So that spine twist is going to come in handy. You might want to open your feet a little bit wider. So we're going to take an alternating overhead reach. So as you lift up into the glute bridge, you're going to roll onto the opposite shoulder gently and then work to lower yourself back down. And then find a little extra twist if it feels good. You can keep both shoulders on the floor as well. But it's okay if one shoulder lifts up off the floor as you reach towards the opposite side. So that's going to be our first move. So open those feet a little bit wider as you need to, lifting ourselves up and down for this first one. We start in 3, 2, 1. Feet planted, begin. So your feet stay planted the whole time. Make sure that you're still pressing through your heels. The ball of the foot, the pinky foot, is on the floor. Find as large of a range of motion as works for you. I definitely have been noticing some tightness in this left shoulder. So you're going to take a slight bend of that left elbow and not put any extra strain on it by reaching the same way that feels more comfortable through the right arm. Remember, both sides of the body aren't the same. Challenging your balance here a little bit. Getting a nice teeny little lateral overhead reach as well. Make sure you're still breathing. Oh my gosh, we made it. Great. Next up, we're going to keep those hips up in the air. We're going to go for a glute bridge rock. So just with those hips up, rocking gently from side to side. You can open those feet a little bit wider if you need to and begin. Lift yourself up. Just a gentle rock from side to side, so you're tilting one hip and then the other. It's almost like squeezing one glute and then the other glute. Oh, if you want to, you can even bring your knees together if it feels more supported. I like it with those feet separated. Can get those hips up a little bit higher, can activate those glutes a little bit more, but still pressing equally through the feet. Great news is that next up we have a side plank. Side plank. Right? Yes. Oh no, side body hip work. All right, so roll over onto your side. You're going to stack your legs, bring your arm on top of your head. Top arm can be used for balance. Lift your top leg, lift your lower leg to meet it, and slowly lower them down. Begin. So top leg lifts, lower leg meets it, and slowly lower down. Think about rolling forward a little bit onto your hip as opposed to being rolled back onto your glute. It's gonna have a lot more balance challenges. You're gonna lose a little bit of the work. Oh, it's definitely a little, it's I'm not saying it's easy, but it's fun, isn't it? If you're really struggling, just lift one leg up and lower that same leg down. Really feel free to apply a little bit of pressure into this hand that's on the floor and helping you with balance as well. Beautiful. Flip yourself over onto the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Top leg lifts, lower leg meets it. Control yourself on the way down. Relax your head all the way down on the floor so you're aligning that upper body. Here we go. Top leg, lower leg, both come down. Remember, you're rolling slightly forward onto that lower leg hip, not leaning back on the glute. And your feet don't have to touch each other. It's good to keep a little space. Think about like you're holding a teeny little Pilates ball. Keeping that belly pulled in nice and tight. We got another break coming up after this, a nice little stretch. Oh, you made it. Oh my gosh. Wow, let's roll over onto our bellies. Go ahead and open those knees nice and wide. Bring your toes together. Send your hips back towards your heels. Stretch your arms forward. Come on into child's pose. If it even feels good for you, you can turn child's pose into a hip opener by opening those knees a little bit wider, even starting to bring those inner thighs towards the floor, like a little frog pose hip opener, because surprise, we've got a lot of hip opening postures coming up in just a second. Just breathe it out right here. Take your time, press yourself up into tabletop. Let's enjoy a little bit of cat-cow, relieving any tension that might have built on our backs. So hands, palms underneath of your chest, press your knees, press your shins, press the tops of your ankles into the floor. As you tuck your chin towards your chest, look towards those knees or your belly button if you can, and find as much rounding in your back as possible. And then just gently rock back and forth here in cat. Just staying in cat. Working to bring your hips a little closer towards your heels like child's pose, and then bringing your shoulders back on top of your hands, palms. Next time you come back into that tabletop position, stay there. Keep those arms straight. Release your belly towards the floor, towards the mat. Pull your chest forward towards your biceps. Release your shoulders from your ears. Look up. Find as much rounding in your back as possible this time. And let's go ahead and make some little circles with your hips. First in one direction, while keeping this nice little arch on your back. Let's get a change of direction here. Make sure you're still breathing. Awesome. Come back up into tabletop. Go ahead, cross your legs behind you. Walk your hands back. Bam! And look at us. We're sitting back on our glutes. All right. Scoot yourself forward so you have some space for our next little round of moves. And go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together in frog. We've got one extra move in this little circuit, so let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. 5 different moves that we're going to do to really challenge ourselves. So we're going to start off with the frog glute bridge. You'll definitely notice, much like in the hamstring glute bridge, it's going to be a little bit harder to really lift those hips up in the frog glute bridge, but I want you to do your best to just press the backs of the feet down, and even if it feels like you're barely lifting up off of the floor, lift up off of the floor the best that you can. Even if all you're doing is setting an intention and squeezing your glutes and nothing is really actually lifting, the whole point is just to do the best with the body that you have today. All right, so starting off right here in 3, 2, 1. Press those shoulders into the floor, begin. So just lift and lower. Pressing the outer edges of the feet into the floor, hips are nice and open. Squeeze in those glutes to lift yourself up. Still working to lift everything up in a nice straight line, so not peeling yourself off of the floor. If you need to take an extra second and take an extra break, you take it. We are more than 2/3 of the way through. We've got 10 seconds left right here, and then you get 15 seconds to yourself. Well, I tell you what's coming up next, so not really to yourself. All right, if you want to come out of frog for a sec, go for it, and then we're gonna come right back into frog. And next up, we've got a crunch. So just lifting up those shoulders off the floor and then lowering them back down. Begin. So just lift and lower. If you want to have your hands by your head, great. If you want to have your hands touching your head, that's also great. Try not to apply too much pressure of your fist on the back of your neck. You can even just reach forward, keeping that chin once again neutral to the chest. So make sure you're not stretching that chin up towards the ceiling. Just about 15 seconds left. If you want to challenge yourself to pulse it out here till the end. This is our last round of ab moves that we're going to do today, so find that extra little lift and reach. We got a move similar to this coming up soon. All right, take that little break. Next up, we've got our frog kick. So just our legs are going to work this time. Might need to bring your thumbs under your bums as you kick out and in. Begin. I find this one to be challenging too. It's okay if your toes separate as you kick those heels out and in. Really work to keep that lower back towards the floor. So remember, if you need to, you can kick more up towards the ceiling. The more that you bring your knees, close towards that chest as opposed to just knees stacking right back on top over hips, the easier it is if those knees are coming in really close. So if you can, really work to keep that lower back glued down, that belly pulled in tight, those heels close towards the floor. Just frog kick it out. Yay! Oh my gosh, we made it. Next up, I believe we have a frog peekaboo. So we're gonna open those legs nice and wide and reach our hands through, and then lower yourself back down. Arms can come up overhead as legs come together. Begin. So just peekaboo and then come through. Hey-o. So you can use those arms to help you in a little bit of a swing up and getting some inner outer thigh work as well as you work to open and close those legs, so keep that lower back glued down to the floor. Oh my gosh. We're doing awesome, y'all. Keep it up, keep it up. Oh. Oh my gosh. What's next? Oh, it's our full frog sit up. It's our last move. Yay, so come back into that frog position. Bring those arms up overhead. We're going to sit ourselves all the way up. You're going to tap the floor. And if you have a weight, you can use that too. To add a little extra challenge, Fred, don't be cruel. Sit yourself up, tap the floor, lower yourself all the way down. If you're having trouble sitting yourself up, if that's just not within your abdominal wheelhouse today, come back to those crunches where we had our hands by our head. You can always just bring those hands right back by your head and just crunch it up here to the end. Still get some great ab work going. Fred, don't be mean. Finishing this workout so well. Yay! Oh my gosh, we are amazing people. Just gonna throw this in the drawer so we can ignore it. the rest of the beep in. And let's go ahead and turn over. Turn over onto our bellies. Go ahead, relax and release your body down towards the floor and bring your hands in close towards your chest. Walk your feet in towards each other and go ahead, press the tops of your feet down towards the floor. Really press the tops of the feet down into the floor so much that as you squeeze your glutes, your legs engage and your kneecaps lift up off of the floor, and stretch your chin out on the mat in front of you as much as possible. Your elbows are pointed up towards the ceiling like grasshopper's legs, but with very little weight or pressure in your elbows. I want you to squeeze your glutes and really press that pubic mound down towards the floor. Use your breath. Big inhale, exhale, relax your shoulders away from your ears. So your elbows stretch down towards the floor. Press the top of the feet down again. Press into your hands, palms very gently. Use your next inhale to look up, lift yourself up into cobra, and use your exhale to gently relax yourself down towards the floor. So inhale, look up, elbows stretch towards hips, lift up, and exhale, slowly, gently towards the floor. Let's do 4 more. Inhale, look up, lift up, exhale, relax and release yourself down. Look up, lift up, exhale, relax and release yourself down. This time we're gonna come up and hold it. So inhale, look up, lift up. Remember, very little weight or pressure into your hands, palms. Stretch your elbows down towards your hips. Squeeze your glutes. Take 1 more inhale, lift up, and exhale. Slowly relax and release yourself down. Relax your arms down by your side and turn your head. Place your left ear on the mat. Really relax and release your shoulders as well. So find some rounding in your upper back. Your shoulders can round down to the mat. Come back to your breath. Just taking a moment here for Savasana on our backs. Maybe that cobra created some tension, so use your breath. Inhale, just notice that things might feel a little worked or tired or uncomfortable. And exhale, send your breath to those parts of the body. On your next inhale, lift your head up, and exhale as you relax. Release it down. Other ear comes down towards the floor. Intentionally find that sloping through the shoulders. Use your breath to take the tension out of your upper body, out of your glutes, out of your jaw, your ankles, your toes, your fingers. Just breathe and be relaxed on the floor as much as your body possibly can. Slowly start to draw those fingertips back underneath of your chest. Go ahead, tuck your toes under, press into your hands, palms, come into a plank for just a moment, and then send your hips up towards the ceiling. You can open your feet a little bit wider. Take a moment in down dog, bend your knees as generously as you need to. Really pedal through your heels. Don't be afraid to bend those knees, to bring your belly towards your thighs, to maybe be in a more modified child's pose or a modified tabletop. Do what feels good for you. Shake through those hips and then walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet and shift the weight into your heels. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Maybe you're in a very generous squat. It's okay if your hands don't touch anywhere near the floor. Keep that head relaxed. Take a moment, shake it no. Still weight shifted into your heels, shake your head yes. Bring the weight back to your heels in case it changed. Belly pulled in, slowly roll yourself up. Stack your shoulders over your hips, your head over your heart. Inhale your arms up overhead. exhale, relax them down by your side. Take a moment in this stillness right here. Feel free to close your eyes. Take 3 more grounding breaths. On this last inhale, lift the corners of your mouth into a smile and really take the opportunity and time to be proud of yourself for coming today. I hope you had an awesome job. I hope you're feeling better than when we got started. Once again, my name is Jessica. I'm the Health Fitness Program Manager out in McLean. Have a wonderful rest of your day.